So this is the halfway mark of a rather large project I'm working on with my cross stitch. And if you're not too sure what cross stitch is, that's the pattern that I'm working from. And if you've heard of paint by numbers, then this is the same sort of thing, but you stitch by symbol. So each little square grid corresponds to the thread pattern on the paper, the thread of the fabric, and there's different symbols that make up different colours, and they're all different shapes, so you know which colour goes where. So as you can see on the pattern, I've coloured in, penciled in where I've been, and which corresponds to, on the pattern, knowing where I am. Now, I knew I'd got to the halfway mark. It's pretty obvious with this kind of a design. I've done half a butterfly. But I just knew that I would get to the halfway mark and take stock or have a look at where I've gotten to. And so I undid it from the frame and rolled it all out to have a little look and go, you know what, not too bad, not too bad. And I think it really relates to something that's in Dan Pink's book called When. And if you don't know who Dan Pink is, he wrote an amazing book around motivation, and I'll add the links in for you in the notes. But what he talks about in his book When is that when you recognize the midpoint, that might be a really good point to just stop, assess, you know, congratulate yourselves. Maybe if you're a leader in a team and you're working on a project and you're at that midpoint, that's a really good place to actually stop and spark some motivation and have a look at how productive the team have been. Maybe look at what are some foreseen issues that might come up as you come through to the end of the project. You know, it's a point at which it'd be really advantageous to actually stop and assess where we're going. Now, when I look at this particular project, I'm not going to tell you where they are, but there are a couple of errors. And so what I need to do is make sure that on the second half, on, you know, where the blank bit of the fabric is, on the second half of the butterfly, that I make sure that I account for the errors that I did on the first half. So what the end result is, you can't see it. And I think that's probably going to work in my favour, because I actually have stopped, rolled it out, had a look, and I'll make the corresponding changes on the second half of the design. So I really think that what, you know, Dan Pink was talking about in his book When, around taking advantage of the midpoint and anticipating what's to come, might be a really great idea for you with any project work or big tasks or any sort of thing that's coming up for you and your team. You know, anticipating what's coming ahead, but also marking the midpoint and making sure you're on track, making sure everyone's still engaged, maybe doing a little bit of scenario planning, whatever's needed. So just some food for thought there. Let me know what you think. And you can let me know what you think of the cross stitch too if you want. So thanks.